Welcome to the G-Spot. My name is Chris. I'm one of your hosts. And if you're just here for the first time, make sure you hit like and subscribe. We drop episodes every week. We talk about fun things, entertainment, and we tie it into a little bit of personal growth and development. You know, we are movie buffs. We love film. We love entertainment, mainly sci-fi and fantasy, not for me. And so we like to just chat about it. And so if you like it too, you're in the right spot.
And we're going to dive into whether The Boys has actually gone too far.
You think so? That's a good question. I would like to know, have they gone too far? And a second part of that question, can a show based on satire, which is supposed to be over the top, can it go too far?
Yes.
Let me know in the comments. Your answer is yes, but I want to know what their answer is.
Yep. So a show definitely can go too far.
Okay.
But we'll address that later on towards the end of the episode. And make sure you stay towards the end for your last chance this month to win the $50 Amazon gift card. So, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Been seeing tons of people dropping comments, so we'll definitely have a bunch of names to call off, or we'll have a name to pick, as at least for this. It's pretty
awesome. Next week we will be doing it the live right on this podcast, and we'll see who wins. So be sure to tune in late.
Yeah. Well, let's dive in. Season 4. So we had the
season 4 already.
Yeah, they officially announced they're only going to do 5 seasons. This will come to an end next year. So I'm a little sad about that, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. So we had the great opportunity to be in Mexico. We were in Mexico, right? And so we had breakfast on the ocean and went back. We were like, well, we'll watch an episode, and then 3 episodes later, you know, we had watched everything they had dropped, so that was awesome.
But it really fucked up at first, though, because of the location, and the signal was coming in all weird.
Yeah, that was, so...
a lot of troubleshooting.
Yeah. It was like, how can you describe it? It was almost like cutting out.
It was artifacting on the screen.
Because I know what that word means, and the context you just used it. An artifact to me is like something you would dig up, like some ancient relic or something. Like
it's remnants of the previous frames.
Okay. All right. That makes way more sense. Thanks for dumbing it down for me. So, yeah, we had to watch it in like basically a fractured form for like the first episode, and then
the second episode.
Got to rewatch it once I got home. So I have seen it. I've actually watched it twice now since I've gotten home, back through. Because usually what I'll do at night is I'll just turn it on and then fall asleep to it. So it's like... But we just watched an episode this morning, so we're on episode 5. We're more than halfway through this season. We only have one more season to go. Season 5 will be the conclusion of the show. And for you guys who don't know what The Boys is, just real quick, it's a satire on superheroes. And I think if the comic is way more over the top than the show is, which is why I was interested that you said that the show had maybe gone too far. Because if that's the case, then the comic went way too far, way too early, way long ago. So I'm interested to see your take on that. But yeah, The Boys.
You are the absolute fucking nerd when it comes to this show. So I'm leaving.
Listen, be careful with what you say, because the comment section will very quickly blow up and tell me what I do not know. Because, listen, I'm human too, right? I don't remember everything, especially with the TV. I remember half of what I need to. But yeah, I do. I love this show, and so I will do my best to explain to you in a non-spoiler way the premise and kind of where we're going. So the Boys is set in a universe where almost like DC and Marvel exist, but all of the superheroes are parodied or satired to be just heinous, scum of the earth, vile, evil types of people. And so we're dealing with a world where superheroes are killing people, raping people, just doing the most vile things to people. And so there becomes this group it's like a small group. They're like a secret organization under the CIA that no one really, a hidden group, right? Well, and so their job, they're called the Boys, and their job is to basically balance the scales, to go after these superheroes that are killing people, that are doing these things that are heinous. And so the interesting part of why this is such a good satire is that the heroes are just as crazy and vile as the heroes on most occasions. And so it's very interesting to see, like, there's a thin line between what's a hero, what's a villain, what's right and wrong. And the way that they paint it is, very much based in our current reality, right? So we're going through a political election in the show. We're dealing with a very controversial political election here in the United States. So it definitely parodies a lot of what's going on, like South Park would do, which I think is a phenomenal job. Great job. Way to bring light and bring attention to situations that maybe, are very tense. And then also it's just, over the top blood and gore and violence, which if you like Boy Kills World or any of the other movies that we've reviewed in the past like that, then you'll definitely like this as well. But the idea is that there's this group, they're going against these supes. These supes work for a company called Vought. Vought is like evil Disney, and they basically control everything. Their hands are in everything: news, media, pharmaceuticals, all of this stuff. And so the boys, Vought, superheroes, they're like clashing throughout this whole thing. And so lots of craziness happens, lots of missions, escapades. I don't want to go again to spoiler territory, but I think any other context you would add other than, specific details?
Fourth wall break. So Vought does not approve this message. His opinions are complete bullshit.
And if you watch, that would make sense.
I have nothing else to add. No.
Yeah. Well, spoiler territory. Here we go. If you haven't seen season 4, especially the newest episode, episode 5, go watch it. Come back because I'm about to ruin it for you. Our news anchor, who does all the fucking Vought spin and media bullshit, just got himself brutally beaten and killed. That shit was crazy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Vought had no part about this at all.
This guy's a Vought spokesperson all of a sudden. But no, yeah, that's, Cameron, what was his name? Cameron something Cameron?
The pussy whip dude?
Yeah, the guy that likes the DOMs.
Yeah.
Something Cameron. Anyway.
Names mean nothing.
He was the news anchor, like their puppet, basically, right?
Yes.
But then they set him up, which I thought was interesting. So obviously Ashley sets him up to be the leak, the rat. But Sage lets it happen because as soon as
she knew,
she looked right at A-Train. She looked right at him, and she was like, "I know, but I'm letting this happen."
Pretty sure we spoiled the shit out of a whole bunch of shit right now.
I've already warned you. So that's the thing too. Like, what is Sage's, like Sister Sage? What's her master plan? Because she's clearly on a whole different mission than what she had laid out originally. I think her plan, like, she knew Homelander was coming. Like, that was just another step in her plan. Her plan started way before. We don't even know.
Destroy from within.
Yeah, like it's pretty crazy to watch what she's doing. And I think she needs A-Train still, which is why she's not letting that information get out. Maybe she needs to use them to her means or whatever it might be. But I think that's why she's not letting the truth get out about that.
Well, let's see how well this ages, because I've got the whole Mean Girls vibe going, where she's going to fit in before she destroys them.
Oh, she's manipulating every one of them.
Yes, I understand. But what I'm saying is, like, the plot of Mean Girls was for her to infiltrate the popular girls.
Oh, I don't remember the plot of Mean Girls. Sorry, dude.
Well, come on, 90s, lower early 2000s, probably 90s still.
I remember that movie. Before Lindsay Lohan fell off the face of the earth. Like, I remember she was in it, and then Rachel McAdams, who I love, I think she's amazing. They were both in that, but I don't know the plot.
So she's infiltrating the Mean Girls, or the popular kids, and she wants to tear them down so that they can feel what they tortured everyone else with.
Okay.
So that's where I feel like she's going with all this. And my God, her outfit is so cliche and racist.
She said that right away. She said, "I'm not putting that on. It's racist." They even added sister in front of Sage because they had to stereotype her, right? That's something that The Boys does very well, is this play on what people are thinking, like what people are actually looking at in media and entertainment, and how, different races get subjugated and pigeonholed to certain things. It's like they just put a light on it.
Well, they did that with their press release, like the Apple event type thing, or Samsung's event. They had that or Marvel.
Yeah.
They did that whole thing in this latest episode, and they were doing the same thing. Oh, we're including this additional vision thing where white people see one thing.
Oh, that was so fucked up and funny at the same time.
And then what was the white person one?
It was just like an IPA. It was like a regular IPA.
It was like a pro beer.
It was like a peach cognac for the black people.
That was so bad.
Dude, A-Train just looked at Sage. He was like, what the fuck? I love that. Yeah, and they just play off it really well. And it brings light to, some shit that's like really happening. So I think that's pretty cool. What are your takes on the whole thing with Huey's dad?
I saw that coming.
Yeah? I was kind of voting for a zombie. Because in the comics, now by no means have I read the comics in any detail. This is basically me YouTubing and researching the boys a lot because I love the show. In the comics, it's my understanding that I believe it was Lamplighter, it was Blarneycock, and then Nubia, or I forget her name. She was a parody of Black Panther's main guardian chick. I forget her name too now. But anyway, when V is introduced to the system and you die, you basically come back as like a brain dead zombie. Mm-hmm. And I thought they were going to do that with Huey Sr., but instead they gave him almost Huey's power, but like in a weird way. Because when Huey takes V, he can teleport.
Yes.
When he takes V, he can almost phase. Like he phases through things, which is kind of crazy. Like a Kitty Pryde from X-Men.
So what I saw coming was the fact that Huey was going to have to kill his dad.
Yeah,
I saw that coming from when the dad started telling the story.
Which one? He told several.
He was telling the story about the cat.
Oh, yeah, Jar Jar, yep.
Yes. So as soon as he brought that story up, I was like, yeah, this has way more meaning than just used as an example of why he couldn't make a decision. Because as we know, the character that's in that scene is going to be tested and has to overcome a previous tragedy or flaw that he had in order to come out the hero on the other side.
Yeah.
Even though the act of killing your father doesn't really make you a hero, but in this case, it's kind of like, yeah, we all know it's for the best.
Yeah. I think it's, I don't want to say like a mercy kill, but like it's you're saving him at that point because he's stuck in a perpetual prison, right? He's either going to be brain dead for the rest of his life, which would be non-V introduced, or he has to live now with this ability and memory loss that he cannot control, which caused him to kill like 4 people in the first hour he had it.
Like Alzheimer's.
Yeah. And he's not even unaware he's doing it, right? That one dude, he just ran through the bed and just stopped. And because he stopped in the middle of the bed, the dude just explodes.
To be fair, he had powers for a whole, 5 minutes, so.
Right, so he's like a newborn trying to figure it out with the memory loss at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's very hard for him. So what Huey did is what Huey should have let happen in the first place, is just let his father go, right? Like, let him go peacefully. That's what he wanted. That's what he asked to happen. And then Huey couldn't let him go. So, yeah, you're right. That was a huge growth moment for Huey as well in that situation.
One of my other favorite moments for this episode was with Homelander and his son.
Oh, it's a creamy, delicious milkshake.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, Homelander, for me, has some of the best growth through the series as, like, any character, which is crazy because you're not going to meet a more vile character inside of the boys.
I think that's part of the fun of it, is you can start to appreciate that, hey, look, even the worst people are still just people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're showing here, is there's still humanity in him. He's just fucked up.
And that's the thing, too, is like over the last couple episodes, they showed you that fucked upness, was engineered into him, right? So it's not even like he could have turned out Superman. He could have been Superman. Vaught ensured he turned out a psychopath. They they just fucked with him hard. And so, now you have that compassion for what he's been through. And now you have this connection with this only living thing in his life, his son, which is a legit, biological son. And so he's like, it's his family, he cares about him. And then, like you said, in this episode, the way he switched and was just like, no, I'm not going to control you. What do you want to do? I'm going to, what's the word they say? Change the generational, help me out here. Change the generational behavior or something. There's a way they say it. But basically not being if your father beat your mother, then you grow up to not beat your mother, beat your wife. And then you change that behavior in your family.
Yes, typically it usually ends in two ways. Either you become exactly like them, or worse, or you repel everything that had to do with it.
Yeah, basically what I'm saying is I know there's a saying, like a way to say it, like a word or a phrase, but I just don't, it's not coming to me.
I'm sure they'll tell us.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Also, let us know in the comments what you thought about this scene with, or this episode with Homelander and Ryan, and like really what were your takes on how he shifted almost to like a compassionate father, which is really strange to see for a man who truly only loves himself.
Yeah, but then like a scene later, he's like egging his kid on to torture the sleazy producer, dude.
Well, yes, like I said, vile character.
Yeah.
That's still going to be there. But moments before that happens, he literally says to Ryan, which is his son, that, how does he say it? You're the only thing I care about? Or he says it right after. It was right in that area. You're the only thing I care about. As if to me, there is nobody else on earth, right? So he doesn't even look at people, human beings, as people. They're nothing. They're ants to him. And so I think what he's looking to do...
Doesn't he refer to them as toys?
Very often refers to them as playthings.
Yes.
Playthings for his amusement. Yep. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to ingrain that in his son. But his son was rebelling against it because of his mother's influence. But I think he may have just found a way to tie his love for his mother to a more sadistic purpose, right? Because he said, I want to help people. And then he showed him a bullying way of helping people, right? Like a way of like hurting others to help others feel better.
To be fair and play devil's advocate, that's what he knows.
100%.
And we fall back to what we're certain of.
So my question then becomes, how does Ryan get saved? Who... Because Bill, like Butcher, doesn't know any like Butcher. Butcher's the same thing as Homelander. Yeah. He is, you know, the good guys and the bad guy both have this like character that will do anything to win.
Well, you remember in the last episode what Butcher said to the leader of their ragtag group.
We're talking about Mother in Charge of the group right now.
That's his name.
MM.
Oh,
Mother's Milk, the black guy that wears all the rap T-shirts. Yeah.
Chop chop, motherfucker.
So he was like, "You're the best father I know." That is how they save him, is for him to be in control of the boy and raise the boy.
Oh, yeah. Mother's Milk. Yeah. I could see that. I like that. I could see that happening. Because you know Butcher's going to die.
Yes.
He's got to.
Okay. I do have to ask one thing, because I don't know how I could have missed it. But in the last episode before this one, you see that parasite thing running through Butcher's back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw it again with the rabbit in this episode. Did I miss that? Is that just the creation of the V attaching to like the cancer or something?
That is him. That is my theory.
It wasn't given away yet.
Yeah, this never happens in the comics. Like where we are is a very different story than the comics. So we have no source material to go off of, right? So we're learning it as we go.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I missed something.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
So you're basically tracking like I am. There was a scene where Butcher catches Huey with the V. And he says to him, you know, what are you going to do with that? And he's like, I'm going to inject my father. You know, I can't let him die. And he was like, wouldn't you inject it if you had a chance to save your life? And he's like, tried it months ago. It didn't work. I think it did work. The problem is it attaches itself to the tumor, like you said. Mm-hmm. So basically superpowered the tumor. So he has like a superpowered tumor living inside of him that's almost now like symbiotic.
I was going to say, is this them attempting to screw around with the Venom universe?
There are many YouTubers out there who have been theorizing that that's exactly what's going on. You know, Paul from Heavy Spoilers, a couple others that I really like to watch, New Rockstars, guys like that, or channels like that. They talk about this being almost like a Venom symbiote that's going to manifest, but it's like the tumor has a superpower, so it becomes a symbiote. It's not like an alien like Venom was. But yes, much like along that theory where... Are you familiar with Umbrella Academy?
Yes.
Okay, so Ben, you know, he has the tentacles that like shoot out of him. Yeah, I think very much so that's what's happening to Butcher, but it's like a separate entity that needs Butcher to survive, right? It's basically feeding off of him, which is why Butcher's dying. And so I don't know where they're going to go with it ultimately, but I think you're tracking that it's like a symbiote or something like that. But
Well, they also helped him in the trailer. Like, he was legit about to die.
it needs him, right? It's feeding off of him.
I get that, but I guess we're just kind of playing what-if games here.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely theory time right now. We're in theory zone for sure.
I feel like we should have a Twilight Zone thing.
Yeah. Well, we can't. There's a other YouTuber that does that exact thing where it's like theory time, and it like throws it up on the screen almost like you're going into Twilight Zone. So we probably can't take that. But I'm glad your mind went there naturally. That's pretty cool. But no, I don't think that, and this is just again theories. We're just speculating here. I don't think that the symbiote is going to speak with Butcher or be like a Venom, where Venom has his own consciousness, speaks to Eddie like they are a buddy cop partnership, right? I don't think that's what's happening with Butcher.
I don't think they can afford to kill Butcher.
They have to.
Why?
Butcher and Homelander have to die before the show's over.
Well, before it's over.
Like, they have to have that final clash where they kill each other.
Yeah, but I can't see him dying in a boring way by some superhuman tumor, is what I'm saying.
Well, what if the superhuman tumor is the way he fights Homelander?
Well,
Because he was able to rip Ezekiel to pieces.
that's different, though. That's why I think that it could be going more symbiotic.
Yeah, I
Rather than just having him waste away, because unless it's going to jump to somebody else, like Huey.
well, then why wouldn't it try to jump when he killed the rabbit? I think it dies with the host.
So it has no point to kill the host then.
That's why he wants to keep the host alive, because it could have just let the host. So think about it. In the trailer, then, Butcher could have just died, and it would have just jumped to Ezekiel. It would have had a super-powered host.
Yeah, that's true.
So it has to be permanently attached to Butcher,
Then why would it be feeding off him till he's dead?
because it has no. That's its purpose, right? It has to consume energy. So just like in Marvel,
Nature is effective, though.
yeah, but parasites in nature kill their host, and then they move on.
Yeah, but the key thing was move on.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going deep into some theory, but what do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen with the clearly now superpowered tumor symbiote thing that's inside of Butcher?
I will be extremely disappointed if he dies by the tumor and they don't take advantage. The whole scene from Spaceballs, the alien coming out the chest and dancing type shit.
What a great movie.
That would be like over the top.
Yeah.
And I think that would be very fitting of the boys, but just do it in some kind of really over top fucked up way.
Yeah, it would be gory and horrific, just like The Boys. Mel Brooks, shout out to Mel Brooks. Some phenomenal movies made by that man. Spaceballs being one of them.
Those farm animals.
Yes.
The farm animals, I felt like first thing I had go through my mind was E-I-E-I-O, and then every B-rated sci-fi movie with animals combined into one freaking episode of The Boys.
I thought it was glorious.
I loved it.
It was glorious.
Not so much the bull. The bull was like, boring, basic.
Yeah.
But the freaking flying sheep and the chickens.
No, yeah.
The bulletproof chickens.
Yeah, so as soon as we had the security detail added to the party, I'm like, oh, people are going to die. We've got extras.
Yep. Red shirts.
Yep. And so, yeah, the chicken, blowing through him, the sheep just diabolically tearing people and other animals apart. Just insane, yeah. What I thought was going to be like a little bit different. So you started hearing like the thuds on the roof. And I didn't after a second, I realized, oh, the sheep were trying to break through. But what I thought happened was they ate the carcass with the virus in it, and they were dying and hitting the roof. And then when you saw the sheep walk in and they seemed normal, I was like, huh, did it cure them? Like, that's super weird. Did we just cure them of superpowers? And then they went, rabid and went crazy, and they run, and then they start falling from the sky. And I was like, oh, it just took a little while for the effects to take place. Mm-hmm. However, one thing I did notice about that scene that may not come into effect later on is Starlight and Kimiko were like front line as that sheep was throwing up. And the only way that virus has passed is through bodily fluid. Mm-hmm. And so we may have some sick soups on our hands very soon.
Hence my point about the parasite, right? The virus was designed to be spreadable, right? But so it wants to survive. That's why the mutations happen in all viruses, is so that they can live on. Because nature wants things to survive.
Correct. Yep.
But yes, I had a lot of fun with this episode.
I don't know.
I was explaining to her, but the whole first scene and the rapey stuff, that is what turned her off of The Boys from
Makes sense.
the beginning. So I was going to explain the whole dynamic of the boy, Homelander, and Butcher, and she was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, once you get past the rapiness of everything else, she does appreciate the whole characters and how twisted they are, but also how very human they are as well, which I think is really cool. And I do like how they had the Gen V people come on the stage.
100%. Yeah.
I was so excited for that. I was like, oh.
They were a part of, and we finally got the infamous speech from the season 4 trailer with Homelander being like, we're no longer heroes, we are wrathful gods. And we finally got, like, next episode's going to be freaking insane, I guarantee it. Not only the 7, who are like the elite superhero team that's supposed to represent the Justice League, not only are they about to like step out, now you have Sam and Kate, who are the people from the Guardians of Godolkin, they're calling them, from Gen V. Who else is in the room? Wasn't there another person? Maybe not. But all of them about to go just absolutely off the rails. Like there's no longer any governing body that can stop them or try to control them. They're just going to be who they want to be unapologetically, and it's going to be freaking gruesome.
I mean, I know it's got to go that way, but I'm kind of disappointed in the way that they're gonna finish it off, but it feels like it's imploding everything by having them go that direction. We know that was inevitable to begin with.
It's got to come to an end sometime.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't like that, because I know it's the beginning and the end.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, real quick, A-Train, his growth, he is second guessing literally everything now that he used to think was normal for all the bad stuff that they would do, and then just write it off. Oh, doesn't matter. But he's got a clearly defined conscience now.
Absolutely.
I think that's really cool.
It started a while back, but I think the nail in the coffin was his brother calling him out, telling his nephews that he's not a real hero. Everything's been staged, everything's been scripted, everything's been.
That's why you need friends that will call you on your bullshit.
Yeah, buck yes, man. Get people who are willing to stand the ground and tell you the tough things because they love you enough. 100%. But no, A-Train, he's kind of been on this arc since last season, right? When his brother got hurt, he started to realize that maybe there was more he could do with his powers to help the black neighborhoods. It backfired on him. So he's kind of been trying to figure out, like, how do I actually use my super speed, my superpowers for good? But he's also caught up in this, like, Vought machine, right? So he's trying to, like, stay alive and then also do good. So, yeah, it's been an interesting, so much so that he's actually turned informant now for the boys. So that's, I don't see ending well for him.
They twisted his arm, but at the same time, he was cool with it.
Yeah.
No, he resisted a bit. Like, he knew it was for the best.
Because before they turned him informant, what did he do? He did something for Huey, just out of the kindness of his heart. He brought Huey something. Information. He had brought him something.
Helped Stardust.
Starlight?
Starlight. Whatever her freaking name is. Yes, helped her. Remember, they were trying to put charges against her?
Yeah, that's what he got him the information to clear her name.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. He's helped them several times. He's, him and, Stardust, as you would call her, Starlight.
Whatever.
Kind of had like this, like, contention, rivalry thing going on. And then ultimately, she thought she killed him early on in the seasons and, yeah, all that stuff. But, well, he had a heart attack, right? And she didn't save him.
If you've made this far, it's time for getting that $50 gift card. So make sure that you like this video, commented on this video, and subscribe to the channel, and put the little bell at all notifications. And you will be entered in, and we will do the live spin the wheel of everyone who has done all those things on any one of our episodes next week to close out the month of June. If you comment in July, sorry you're not eligible. You'll have to wait and see what we do next time.
Heck yeah. Monkey. You know what I'm talking about?
The movie.
No. Joe. So, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character,
Oh, okay.
Joe Kessler, Monkey. I think, and I've been on this kick with like everything now since Fight Club. So we went back through Fight Club with the fine-tooth comb. I believe Marla wasn't real. And now I'm always looking for what characters are real and what aren't. Like, which ones are a figment of the imagination? So Becca, clearly, he's seeing things. Butcher, right? He's seeing things. He's seeing Becca. Did you notice at the end of this episode? So I've been thinking that he's just a figment of his imagination, right? Becca's the angel, Joe's the devil on his shoulder. Good and evil. Two different personalities that he's seeing, they're manifesting because of the tumor. At the end of the episode, he's going to that guy who would cut his leg off. And he's like, I'm going to have you make the virus. And he keeps looking up at Joe and like talking to Joe while he's talking to the doctor. And the doctor looks like, who are you talking to? I don't think Joe's really there. I think Joe's in his mind.
Yeah, nobody else has acknowledged him yet.
I also thought that Huey's mom was in Huey's mind because Huey also took the Temp V. I thought maybe he was starting to have hallucinations because no doctor or anyone in the hospital besides Huey had interacted with her as far as I had seen through any episode. But when Huey Sr. wakes up...
Did you just uncover something?
When Huey Sr. wakes up, he interacts with her, though.
Yeah, but did you just uncover something?
Did I uncover what?
That Monkey isn't a real person.
I believe so. I believe he's a figment of Butcher's imagination. He's the devil on Butcher's shoulder.
That's wild. What do you guys think?
That's my thought on that.
All right. I guess that's it.
All right. Well,
did they go too far?
Well, I would love to hear why you think that. Like, what was the scene? Because we've seen some horrendous stuff in the last, 3+ seasons now. We're on season 4. So what was it in these last 5 episodes that was like, for you, we were like, no, you guys just took it one step too far?
I didn't say I agreed with it. I was asking the damn question.
Oh, you were so adamant about it when you brought it up. I was like, oh, okay. Well, like, what did you notice? Because I hadn't felt it. So I was like, I also go into this show with the mindset that, like, I'm probably going to be a little disturbed watching this. Like, there's some things that happen that are just like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I get that from the episodes also. Like, Human Centipede was one of them. God. That was...
I was not expecting that's what they were going to walk in on in that song.
Especially when he just got done playing fucking God in Supernatural.
Chuck from Supernatural.
Right?
So many supernatural characters.
I love it. I really do.
Eric Kripke, you're awesome. Keep bringing them in.